Wanted to be seen on his live stream and market their brand or market themselves. They had to make prior arrangements with his team that, okay, at this place you're going to meet Mrs. Universe is going to come and do this. But if he's not in the program, he has no need to market anyone. There was no need for them maybe to try to impose themselves on him or what. But I don't think he ignored them, or he was just doing his thing there. That's number one. Number two, Hulu. It's important that we the minister is trying to respond, especially to all these issues. The importance of this technology and the advancement of technology, Hulu, is that it's going to help us police ourselves. If you notice, in South Africa recently, there have been arrests that have been made of hooligans and criminals and murderers, thieves, who have been caught live on camera. Then it goes viral. Then they are caught. So we have to be very, very careful. In as much as technology is coming, it's going to help us in a lot of ways. But criminals and those who are bent on breaking the law also, they have to be now very careful, because they are going to be caught unaware. Because it's going just to put things there in black and white for everyone to see. Scott Sakupanya has allowed his kids to go into a pub. Period. There is no discussion that can go beyond that, and there's no explanation that can say there are certain times that children are allowed, or there are certain events that children are allowed in a pub. Children are not allowed in a pub. It's a shame. It's a shame. Regardless of whose children, regardless of who you are, it's a shame. It remains a shame, Hulu. Thank you.
Yeah, it is a shame, and remains a shame. If Honorable Scott Sakpranya, you are listening, to this discussion, then, people are not taking kindly to the fact that you allowed your children to go to a pub in a country where you are a member of parliament, and putting up the laws where it is not allowed for children to be in the pubs. So, Honorable Scott Sakpranya, we understand that, you see, there are advertisements that need to be done. We'll be talking about it, pushing. We saw the Scotland jersey, you said it, Douglas, that it was not just the issue of the children, but I think Willard also talked about it, the fact that several times we saw many things about Scotland FC being, trying to be pushed also there, so that it can be known. Maybe, there's nothing wrong with that. But then at the end of the day, now pushing the children into a pub so that you kind of advertise yourself. I don't know what benefit that is. Welcome to the space, Zulu. I see you there, my friend. Thank you very much. We've been communicating earlier. And so Bonnie, from a perspective of, say, for example, female perspective, a motherly perspective, I would want to find out also from Hot Seat Empire when it comes to this. Surely these kids have got the father is the MP, who is Honorable Scott Sakanya, but they have got also, their mothers. What do you think would have gone into the mind of a mother allowing their child? Yes, we know the child is is the child of Honorable Scott Sakanya. But then, if you were the mother of these children, and well, married to Honorable Scott Sakanya, or having children with people like Honorable Scott Sakanya, what would you say when you see your child in a pub? First to him, the honorable. Then second, we can just say to yourself in your heart, sitting down and thinking, but I am a mother, I gave birth to these children. What do you think could be going on in your mind? And what message can you probably give to the father of those children who would have allowed them to do something like that, Bonnie?
That's a very good question, Hulu. I'm just going to say that this would be my last contribution because I'm currently still at work, so I'll make this my last contribution. But I need to obviously caveat this by admitting my ignorance in that I'm not very familiar with how streaming works. So I think Willard touched on that slightly. And so thank you for that. And I think this is where maybe in answering your question, Hulu, that maybe we would get it wrong as parents is that perhaps playing devil's advocate, Honorable Scott was not particularly familiar in that streaming world that everything that's going to take place is going to be published online. So perhaps the children went there to have photographs because I think you can see on one of the clips when Speed has made mention that kids shouldn't be there. Somebody made mention that the kids wanted to have a photograph with Speed. So I think sometimes actually as parents, particularly now that we live in this digital age, it's very important to know what's actually happening online and how kids can be roped into these things that could potentially be harmful. So as a parent, I think it's my responsibility to ensure that I'm aware what my children are watching and who they're spending time with. But I think everyone's agreed here that there are two laws that apply here. There are people that can evade this law and some people can't do that. So it's if we are being very honest, if this was going to be somebody else's children and this had happened, it would have been a different outcome altogether. So I just think that whilst we're also having this discussion, exposure is very important. I think Willard mentioned this and Doug mentioned this as well. Douglas mentioned this as well. I think we live in a world where it's very difficult to hide what's happening, especially if it's being recorded in real time. So it's really good that this happened and we've got some exposure globally because we've got somebody that's famous in that way coming to our country showcasing what's happening. And equally we had socialites or celebrities, I don't know which term applies, who were equally there. I think it's really a learning curve because I think different people do different things. This is a streamer. This is not someone making content. I mean, he did make content in Victoria Falls, but he was streaming when he was elsewhere. So I think it would be very good for those that we watch doing stuff online to be maybe a bit more familiar with the types of content creating um formats that are out there. So that would be my thing from that point of view, that first of all I think it's really important that when we're exposing our children to social media, like my child comes to me and asks me to go somewhere, I mean, I have to be aware this wasn't a secret, this didn't just happen. And I'm sure, like with Honorable Scott, was aware, considering Scotland Football Club was aware that this individual was coming and potentially what they were going to be doing. So we can't excuse him there at all. So I think as a parent, generally, it's important to be aware what our children are getting involved in. And also, if it was a matter of taking photographs because there's somebody that's very popular, that could have happened outside the club, didn't have to be inside the club. It could have even happened at a different venue because they were at other places where this speed was. It did not have to be in a club. And I think it sets a very bad precedence in general that children should be exposed in such environments, which is totally unacceptable. So maybe Hulu, in closing, I think this was a brilliant opportunity for all included, anyone in this space, digital space, advertising space, tourism space. It was a very good opportunity for the country as a whole for us to, showcase what happens in different sectors, and also a learning opportunity as well. Maybe we'll potentially have our own streamers if we probably maybe they're there, because I don't want to be too ignorant. I'm sure they're there, but it's just how to, expose ourselves with different formats of how people conduct themselves on social media and whatever else is out there. So I think those are my my 2 cents. And again, I think this is terribly wrong. And if it is possible for Honorable Scott to come out and really condemn this, because that is completely unacceptable in my opinion. Thank you.
Yeah, and Bonnie, as you are speaking right there, Willard is going to explain here. Look, I no longer have a blue tick myself, even though I paid. When you pay from Zimbabwe, I paid for the whole year, and all of a sudden, after just 1 month, so I paid on the 5th of December when I was renewing. I've always had that blue tick for many years, And so when I paid on the 5th of December, Willard, I don't know, maybe you can also assist us there. You see, on the 4th of January, the blue tick went away without any. I mean, any warning whatsoever, and there is no way apparently on X to even like ask them to say, well, I mean, you have made an error. You have recorded 1 year as 1 month. So, Willard, I even decided, okay, let me try to see if I can pay for a single month. Then it records that I've been registered for that 1 month, but after that it doesn't work and stuff like that. So you just have to pay from another country apparently for it to, for it to stick. And well, Willard, you have got more experience when it comes to that. Maybe you can explain, what does somebody do? You pay for 1 year, and then they record it as 1 month. So what do I do then? And I've been having it for forever. In the past, there were no issues. This year, it is like that. So, well, when Bonnie was talking about opportunities for Zimbabweans when it comes to issues of streaming and things like that, I don't think. I mean, those opportunities are. Are not really like smooth sailing, because now look at my situation now. How do I deal with that? So maybe Willard is going to talk about it briefly when he comes now. So, hot seat, let me just check if you are there. Douglas is here, and thank you for joining us. For all those that are here, Comrade Chakachaya, in the North Pole there, the Liberation War hero has also just joined us, which is something also quite nice, honestly. We want to see that happen. So remember, that the hope we have, us and our children and our children's children, let it be the same hope they have, all others, and their children and their children's children, those whose homes who never know, and those whose countries who never visit. For the hope of a Zimbabwean child must be universal, because this is about our people, it is about our country, and this is yet another day, another hour. We have an opportunity to talk about issues affecting our country. Well, it is now 25 minutes past 5 in Harare. Also, there, 25 minutes past 5 p.m. in the city of Bulawayo. Hot Seat Empire, Rozobo, are you there?
Yeah, I'm Hulu.
Did you
Thank you so much,
hear what
Hulu.
Bonnie was saying there?
Yeah, I feel like we're missing important questions. First of all, these kids are. I'm gonna give an example of, like, for example, a place called Pablo, right? You can't just go up there, Panama bounce on the ground. Panama bounce on the ground. You need to go upstairs. You can't do the logistically. You can't just do that. I feel like in us saying, okay, Scott, kids were there. Even if we want to say he's corrupt, the owner of the club, the workers of the club, the manager of the club, they knew what was going on. They knew Speed was there. They knew what was going on. I already told you in the audio, there was a voice of another kid saying, "This is Scott's kids," right? There was a child's voice, Hulu. Below 10 years old, you could hear his voice, right? No one is talking about that, right? What about that? Right. So before we even talk about Scott and him calling Chief Ben and talking about these people, which I didn't even know who Chief Ben was. Till now, I don't even know what he does. I just don't know. I just saw Chief Ben. I know it's Chief Ben. We don't know who he is, right? But, right. And then also, second point, this guy is called Munya Jani. Munya Jani. The people were calling him Speed when Zimbabwe. Everybody's talking about him. If you see international tabloids, they're talking about him. I feel like the grace God has put on Speed is to let others shine. I feel like we should put our energy on the light of this young man. Okay, this young man, he's been doing content for a long time, and apparently just within like 2 hours he gained 25,000 followers. I don't Till now I don't even know what this guy does, but he felt like it was grace, unplanned, there on the right time, and this girl, Uyuyu, I don't know, some girl from KFC. I'm not really sure again who her name is, but wherever she was. And then apparently, Vaseline is trying to make her like the face of Vaseline in Africa. Who knows? I'm just saying what people are writing about, right? That moment, that grace, right? I feel like, again, are we part of being that toxic environment that are focusing on the wrong things? how did Scott's kids get up those stairs with those bouncers who have those guns who kill people? We've had so many episodes of people being killed by bouncers. How did those two young boys go up those stairs? Were those bouncers paid or what? But even if they were paid, the owner of the club is the owner. The workers they respond to the owner. How did those kids? How did the manager not contact the owner, or did he contact the owner? Was they like were they allowed to be there? Okay, we're missing so many steps. As much as I truly believe, as much as we want to be pointing fingers at this guy, for them to even be there and to VIP, let's not pretend VIP, you can't just get